Hello everybody, I'm Mrs Milton, and as part of the phonics workshop this evening I will be explaining a little more about handwriting. Let me just open the slides. And pop myself down here. Okay, so handwriting. Successful handwriting relies upon secure motor control and hand-eye coordination. For some children this is very natural, and to others it's not natural at all. We have to provide opportunities for all children to succeed in handwriting by addressing the skills at a variety of levels. These include physical control over large-scale movement, manipulative skills, and fine motor control and hand-eye coordination. We develop gross motor skills through PE and our outdoor learning provision. To support and develop the children's fine motor skills, it's important to first ensure they have secure gross motor skills. We support this through our PE curriculum and continuous access to outdoor learning. Here the children will develop their gross motor skills by climbing, balancing and travelling in a variety of ways. Children in the reception department have access to outdoor learning all day. So the doors are open all day. They can choose some activities in the classrooms, or they can choose to visit the top playground where there'll be activities set up under the shelter and wider activities set up in the playground. We each have PE twice a week where we will continue to develop their gross motor development through various activities in PE. Fine motor skills are developed in multisensory and handwriting sessions, which we have begun, so please do ask your children about them. We begin the sessions by using Pen Pals, which is a program we use at Stanford. It's got a variety of warm-up clips which the children will join in with. They warm up their gross motor skills and fine motor skills by various stretches and various movements. We then introduce the focus letter or the handwriting patterns. So initially we're working on handwriting patterns and eventually we'll build up to working through the different letter families, which I'll explain in a little while. We model the correct formation. The children have a go at practicing themselves. They might practice with their finger in the air. They'll sharpen their pencil and start to form the letters in the air. They might form some patterns on their learning partner's back. They might do some writing on the floor or in another part of their body. They'll then have a chance to come up, some of them, and have a practice on the board. And then eventually they will go and have their own practice to complete the session. They are practicing either forming the letter or the pattern in a range of multisensory ways, and then eventually they'll move on to in their handwriting books. These are our families of letters. So we begin with the long ladder family. We then work on the one-arm robots, the curly caterpillars and the zigzag monsters. So you may hear your children coming home talking about these families of letters very soon. The long ladders, we have L, T, I, J, U and Y. They're long ladders because they start at the top. They always start at the top and they travel down. And as you can see by the posters, they have the direction of travel. So it shows us where to start, and obviously we would model that as part of our session as well. So these are the long ladder family. The one-arm robots are here. The reason they're one-arm robots, again, they start at the top, they go down, trace back up, and then they have one arm coming out. So it may be the one arm coming out to form an R, or the M, or the H, the K. We teach our K with a flick, or the P. So that's all the beginning of the letters, which is why we call them the one-arm robot letters. We then have the curly caterpillar family. Curly caterpillar family always starts at the same place, so it's starting here. So often when children are forming curly caterpillar letters, they'll do an O and they'll start somewhere down here and just do this. So we start to teach them, when you start a curly caterpillar letter, you always start here, you always loop round as if you're doing a curly C, and then you complete the letter. I'll explain a little bit later on about some letters which have lead-ons, and O is one of our letters which does have a lead-on. So we would start with the curly caterpillar letter, form round, back up to the top, and a lead-on to get them ready for joining, which they'll start in year 1. In the curly caterpillar letter family, we have the C, A, O, Q, G, D, E, S, and F. All of these letters will start in a similar place. We then have the zigzag monsters, and the zigzag monsters are Z, X, V and W. They're zigzag monsters. They're not curly letters, they're straight letters, and they are zigzag monsters. That's what the children will be learning. Initially, as I said, we haven't started the families of letters yet. We are learning patterns. So we're learning patterns such as zigzag, plus, turrets. So you may see them coming home and practicing these patterns, doodling around. As I said, we do teach some letters with leads. This is to prepare them for joining, which they'll start in year 1 and develop in year 2. So letters that have leads are the O, the V and the W. We use multisensory handwriting activities. So at present, children haven't started writing in the handwriting books, which I'll explain in a moment. What they're doing at the moment is doing the warm-up on the carpet, doing their gross motor development and their fine motor warm-up with us, practicing the letter with us, lots of modelling, and then they'll be invited to go and choose a multisensory activity. So the classroom will be set up with lots of different activities such as shaving foam to write in, chalkboards and chalks, highlighters, there might be some sand, salt, corn flour, glitter tray for them to use their finger and form the letters or the patterns in. We've got some marble letters, which are plastic, large plastic letters where they trace the marble round. Play-Doh, forming letters with Play-Doh, or even pushing a tool into the Play-Doh or pushing a finger into the Play-Doh. We have been using whiteboards and pens, painting, even painting with water, which you can see here as it disappears. I think it's quite magical. Yes, and buckets of waters and paintbrushes. So you can see some examples here. When we do move on from multisensory, then what we tend to do is have 2 days a week that are practicing a letter in a multisensory way, and 2 days a week where we are writing the letter in their handwriting book. So it tends to be, if we're learning the first curly caterpillar letter C, on Monday they would practice it in multisensory ways. Tuesday they will then have it written out in their book. They'll find their book, lined pages, and then they will copy the letter once they've done all the warm-ups and all of the practicing of the letter. So they have 2 days to consolidate their learning of the letter C. On the Wednesday, they have a break, and then on the Thursday, we then move on to another letter. So if it was the curly caterpillar family, the next letter would be the D. So again, on the Thursday, they'll then practice the D in a multisensory way, and on Friday, they'll have D written in their book, and they'll get a chance to practice with a pen or a pencil. When they do move on to practicing with a pen or a pencil, and certainly we have introduced this already with our writing, we teach the nip, flip, grip technique, which is to establish a comfortable and secure pencil grip. So some children are writing like this, whole hand grip. Some children have got a bit of an established grip, but they're perhaps using 4 fingers. So we like to teach them to use 3 fingers. We encourage them to nip the pencil, flip the pencil and grip the pencil, and that way they should be forming a secure pencil grip. So if your child doesn't yet have an established or a secure pencil grip and they are doodling, writing, drawing at home, then feel free to use the nip, flip, grip technique that we do. That's a little bit about how we teach handwriting at Stanford. I hope it was helpful.